Welcome to a new series from Carp Spirit called Carp Pursuit. Now in this I'm going to be heading up and down the country to different venues, hopefully, and I know, look at that, hopefully testing my skills. Sounds simple enough? Well, it isn't, because each episode is going to have a twist, or should I say a spin. Right, without further ado, let's grab that card, the challenge card, and see what is expected of me.
Right, Ian. We've got 3 challenges. Middle.
Hang on, the glasses are going to be needed. Challenge 2. Do you know what? For where we are, which I'll tell you in a minute, this could go massively the right way or completely the wrong way. So to catch a brace of 20-pound carp, I'll do my best.
How do you think, how hard do you think that's going to be?
For where we are, there's a lot of 20-pound carp in here, but there's also a huge amount of doubles. So we'll do our best. We'll try. We've still got to do this and find out how I'm going to catch the 20-pound carp. So it's not quite clean cut and as easy as catch a brace of 20-pound carp.
You've not done too bad, because it could have been a lot worse.
Yeah.
You don't know what's on these other 2 cards.
Right, okay.
You've done all right there, you've done all right.
Right, you remember me saying there's a bit of a spin on this? Well, on here, there's lots of different tactics, and when I start whizzing this round, it's going to tell me, and there are a couple on there that I'd be a little bit worried about, but it's going to tell me what we've got to do to complete that. That is brilliant, and that does lean itself towards the venue we're on. Right, the clock is ticking. Time to get round to the peg. Right, for this one, we're at Willow Park in Hampshire, which is one of my favourite little day tickety venues. We've done a day ticket travels here, as you will have all seen, or better have seen. There's quite a heavy stock of fish. Luckily for me, we'll see at the end of it, quite a lot of 20-pound fish. Overall, it's quite a shallow lake. Now, I do come here quite regular with tutorial clients, and I was here last week for a day when there was absolutely nothing caught. So it's not all in the bag, although the weather's beautiful. As I say, it's quite a shallow lake. They haven't quite woke up and been coming out in numbers. It's been odd fish, really. So the weather's on our side, though. Fingers crossed. The challenge that was been set is a brace of 2 20-pounders. Let me say that on a good day, that can be done on here in an hour, or it could not be done in a week. There's a lot of fish, lots of doubles, but a good few 20s, so I'm feeling very confident. Ask me again at the end of it when I'm like that, all deflated like a balloon. But no, all joking aside, there's a lot of 20s in here. You might have to work the numbers. Hopefully these fish will turn on, because it's glorious weather and we'll bag them pretty damn quickly. Right, I know this challenge is about, oh, nice there, single hook baits. I still don't want them, unless I'm seeing fish in a certain area and want to put leads on them, I still don't want to chuck it and chance it. Now I know, this lake's got more gravel than the M25 had to build it, but there's a lot of silty pockets. So I am going to start by finding a couple of silty pockets, wrap the rods and start fishing that way until I see fish to move the rods onto. So we need a starting point, and that's what it's going to be. I shall find a couple of silty bits in amongst all the bumpy bits, and I feel like actually like you're chucking on top of house bricks out here. but they're clean for a reason. Let's have a look. We want to find a nice big soft bit. Ooh, smooth that, smooth. See, that's the starting point. Then we hit. Now it's like going across a billiard table with all the balls on it. I'm going to throw that again and clip that. That'll give us a good start, just one rod, a good starting point. We've also kept my eye out over in this bay to the right. There's no one there, and I'm sure by lunchtime, like it was last week, they'll be showing in there. It's so warm, and it's very, very shallow in that bay. I do know that much about it from talking to the bailiffs and Terry, the manager. Fantastic manager as well, Terry is. Unbelievable chap. Yeah, that's nice there. Really smooth. There's an old clip on there, funny enough. That's a bit of a, that's an omen. It's an omen. Let's clip it again. And then we'll measure that. It's an omen from last week when I was fishing. Still not seen a thing though. I know we've only been here 20 minutes just looking, but it's flat calm. It's boiling hot for this time of year. There's a million seagulls. So last week when I was here, these gulls were doing exactly this. Yes, there's a hatch. Look, there's one there. Whoa, there's one there, and there's millions of them, but they weren't in one area. Now it's brilliant for zig fishing. If you can locate them into one area, these gulls dive bombing whatever's going on, but at the moment, they're everywhere, and they are picking off these little tiny flies. So it does bode well for a zig and all, but time will tell, won't it? But it's only so shallow, bottom baits and little pop-ups, you know, not just the zigs. That is so shallow, but really smooth. So that gives us a good starting point.
Well, having had a lead around, I found what seems to be like a real smooth, silty gully behind some savage gravel. I'm going to clip two of it. I've already wrapped the lead rod, so I know how far out it is, and it goes all the way across in line with certain trees and certain houses. So I'm going to put two in that, in the soft stuff. The third one, I'm hoping to see some fish to put maybe a short zig at. So time to knock up.
Whoa, Ian, I forgot to mention that there's a third part to this challenge.
How many more bits is there?
This is the final one.
Well, I do need to try and catch a fish.
In this box here are some hook baits and rig components.
Okay.
And you've got to use what's in this box for your rigs and hook baits to complete the challenge.
Right, okay. Can I use bits of mine if necessary?
Potentially. We'll cross that bridge when we come to
Right.
it. Run us through what we've got there.
That is, it's quite a large box, you know. Can I open this box without looking too surprised? Right, wow. Well, I hope to God, and I'm going to show you why, I haven't got to catch a carp on every one of these hook baits. Keep watching. Don't switch channels just yet. You might lose sight of me in a minute behind these tubs, but in all fairness, these are the new range from Dynamite for this year. So I haven't used half of them. I'm probably not going to use half of them either. Look, I'm doing a double wall now. I don't think we're going to run out of hook baits this trip anyway. Some of these quite exciting. The smaller ones definitely be my starting point. We've got wafters, little pop-ups, 15mm tooties. Tutti frutti. Right, that's the easy part. So we've got, that ain't too bad, lead clips.
Obviously we've got barbless hooks, which is good because the venue, as you walk round, you'll see multiple signs saying barbless hooks. And have a look, what else we've got. This is like Christmas, but not quite as exciting. Right, yes, and yes, 32 and £23 Optimix. I use that a lot in my rig, so that is a major bonus. That we've got super soft lead core. Now again, I'll touch on these signs again. Barbed hooks and lead core leaders are a no-no. It doesn't matter what we're doing for work, we still have to stick to fishery rules. So cut our lead core, we won't be having that. Bait floss, all necessary. Another box. Oh, that's bait floss. That boring's out, I've already got one. There's a few more bits yet. The needles, I need some new needles, so that's double-handed. I'm guessing I'll get to keep this at the end of it, although I don't need all these. Brilliant, brilliant hooks. Yeah, there's enough stuff here to work with. Rig tubing, I don't know if we're allowed that. Well, I will inquire with Terry a little bit later, so I'll put that back in the box for now. I think we have to fish all the way through with nylon. Shrink tubing, good. Quick change, and more hooks. So there is nothing there that to be in all fairness with that we can't use and work with. So we'll put that aside for now until we talk to Terry about the rig tubing. And look at this lot. But you wish you had this lot, didn't you? Wafters, 14mm wafters, and we've got 12 and 15mm pop-ups in all the new range. Now these at the end of this shoot might find their way into that van over there. So I know what I'm going to do. I'm going to knock up a couple of Ronnies with little pop-ups to start with. They're going in that little gully, and I can even use these little bright ones instead of foam. Well, I might have a chat with the cameraman in case we do need black foam. So it's the only time I'll use a different bait will be if we need the black foam. Other than that, let's knock some rigs up, get started.
Having had that box thrown at me by Steve, genuinely, that was a surprise. I knew we'd have to spin the wheel, and I knew there'd be a challenge, but they keep mounting up. But having opened the box, there's 3 items in there that I may not be able to use. I will speak to Terry later regarding one of them, that's the rig tubing. But the rest of it, I'd pick most of it anyway. You know, it's the fluorocarbon I use for most of my own angling. We'll knock up some Ronnies. I have got hold of the cameraman. I don't know if he was like that. He's agreed that if I do need to use one little piece of black foam, because it's what the venue does produce fish on, I'm allowed to do that. Everything else has to be used out of them tubs, and I'm quite excited about that. There's yellows, pinks, oranges. It's stuff I use this time of year anyway, and stuff that Willow Park definitely likes. As you can see, I'm going to use 2 little pop-ups, but these are so buoyant, these new ones anyway, that I've had to trim them down, sort of apple core the bottom one. So that's it, double yellow, and the next one will be double pink. Bang. For now, that will be the right one. That may change as and when we see things going on out there. Right. We've seen very little here. I have, in the last 10 minutes, seen 3 jump right over in that little bay against them snag trees. So, as you can guess, we're off. Take the 2 little pop-up rods. I'm not going to do the zig thing over there. 1 pink, 1 yellow. And let's go and have a look. There's no one around at the moment, which is why I'm rushing like a lunatic. Because in 10 minutes time, we'll be there. Having jogged around here, so I do a lot of jogging,
Put 2 rods round, all joking aside. 2 little Ronnies, pink and the yellow. And I've put them in the gap near the far bank where I saw the fish from over yonder. Just singles. And there's been one, and it isn't gassed because it's going along and moving in. The fish feeding down there, almost, just our luck today, almost in between where the hook baits went. But we are on them, and they are picking stuff up down there. It might be someone who put bait in there yesterday, that there's a bit of fizzing going on, or even a little bit of natural. But I'm sort of straining my eyes to keep an eye on even this ripple. They just aren't behaving. This is Willow Park, for Christ's sake. You know, they're just so out of sorts at the moment. But we're going to give it. I'll give it an hour here. As long as I see signs of fish, we're chill here before going back there this evening. Yeah, we should have had a pie. But there you go. The longer you wait, closer you're getting. A little bit of philosophy for you.
So far, it's now late after early evening now. Nothing to report on the fish side of things, I'm afraid. Done most of the day here on the rods, bouncing a zig around, and I kept 2 little Ronnies in that sort of silty area I found. This, how far it is, about 50 yards out anyway. Bounce a zig around. There isn't an inch of water out there. I didn't put a zig in today because there was odd fish, but mainly beyond our reach. So anyway, this afternoon, 3 fish jumped, boom, 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 within 10 minutes, right over in that bay, about as far away as you can get from where we are. That aside, 2 rods, the little Ronnie rigs, run round there with the mat, the net, the 2 rods, flicked them against the tree line where I'd seen that one of them was a good fish. There was 3 fish showed in 10 minutes. 10 minutes later, there was a little bit of fizzing, definitely a fish because it was swirling around and moving around. Saw a few fish on the surface in that bay, but hour and a half, unfortunately nothing. The evening's drawing in, got to get back round here, sort the rods out for now. So what I've done at the moment, I've whipped the zig off, saw a couple of tail patterns about 30 yards out to the left, so plopped a little pink one on that. The other 2 I have wrapped on that silty area, and I'm going to put them out there for the night. Saw some fish there this afternoon when we were over the other side. Isn't always the way. So we've got 2 yellows on the silty area. At the moment I've got a little pink Ronnie, all Ronnies, little pink Ronnie, 30 yards out to the left where I saw tail pattern. Fear of repeating myself. There you go, we're going into the evening. Kettle's on. Actually, kettle's boiling now behind you. So we'll see what the evening stroke night brings.
As the day turns to night, it didn't take long before that first rod was away.
I don't think he's one of our breeze though. I don't know, it's quite wide actually. Darn. We have a fish. Yes, absolutely freezing. How's that a difference from today where it was t-shirts? Absolutely freezing now, but woof, in the net is the first one. All we've got to do now is weigh it. Be the smallest 20 pounder I've ever captured. You happy with that?
Bang on 20.
Bang on 20, yeah. Mate.
Well done.
You know what? The hardest part of a brace of 20s is the first one. And there she is, absolutely 20 pounds on the nose, as you've just seen. And if you're going to ask for a fish that ain't 20, it would be that one. But she is 20 pounds. This is what Willow Park is now famous for, these scaly fish. Look at that. Incredible car. I love coming here and catching these. I mean, this isn't quite fully scaled, and probably half the stock are completely fully scaled, but never going to moan at that.
I don't think you can complain. Heavily plated mirror like that.
That's mental, isn't it?
Yeah,
Absolute amazing. Let's just spin him around and show you the other side. They talk about, I read in the magazines and that apple slice scales. Look at that, them 3 big scales in the middle of that flank. You, my little darling, have made me very happy, even though it's very cold. 20 pounds on the nose, half the job done. Next one, 25.
After slipping back the first fish, it was literally seconds before the second rod was away, and this turned out to be a bit special.
Yeah. $31.14 in.
Ready? That, listen, if you're going to do a brace, do a brace. That is amazing. I've got to say, last year at this time we done the day ticket tour here, travel here, and had a 29.14 mirror carp there named Chemo. It's my first 30 from Willow Park, the biggest fish I've had from here. So 31 pounds, 14 ounces of absolute stonker. You are angry. 31 pounds and 14 ounces of Hampshire Willow Park clonking, character scaled common carp. You cannot complete the challenge any better than that. Both the fish in that silty area, all 3 rods quite obviously are going to go there. On the little yellows, these 2, that's not a reflection on the pink one, I'm sure, but sticking with that little soft area, I think that's been worth it, don't you? Go on, darling, off you go. Yeah, look at him, chunk, mate, big old chunk. Good morning, and it is indeed a very good morning. Yesterday evening, as the darkness fell upon us, I placed 2 rods on that silty soft area I found, and one beyond it where a fish showed. Then we went to bed at some stage. We had a nice Chinese actually before that. Got in the bag quite early because it was cold, and I'm pretty sure it was about midnight. One of the rods off the silty area lit up. Got that in after a bit of a tussle and round the other lines. The first one, lovely scaly, bang on 20 pounds. Now let's remember the challenge was a brace of 20s. The hardest part of a brace, as I said last night, is the first one. Now we've got him done. I mean, this is what Willow's known for, these really scaly ones. And that was really lucky, right on the 20 mark. So half the brace is done. Hallelujah, eureka. Really chuffed with that. Put him back, literally just took the rig off, just re-wrapped that to tie a new rig and put it back in the spot. Boom. The other one on that silty area, I'm looking at the bobbins pasture there, trying to recall what went on last night. The other one's gone off. Now straight away I knew this was a better one. It just felt like it was hardly moving and heavy. Now I know there's no snags out here, so it's a better fish. Played around for a while in the edge, up popped a really good common. Now, I wasn't familiar with this fish. I've seen photos of it, but I hadn't really taken any notice of it till we got her out and weighed it. When I lifted her out, it was like, ooh, this is definitely big 20s. This is definitely challenge completed. 31 pound, 14 ounces. It's called Scar 2, I'm told, by Terry, and it's the biggest fish in the lake. Now, that is a little slice of luck. So not only is the biggest fish in the lake, this beautiful battle-scarred character of a common from Willow Park, we've completed the challenge. Now, rod's back out and nothing else has occurred. So what I think it is, they've obviously come down past that silty area. I've had 2 bites in quick succession, no bait out there, remember that, just 2 little pineapples, and I think they've carried on through because the fish we've seen this morning are more to our left. Now, we did move yesterday for a couple of hours because they were showing in that far tiny little bay. There's quite a lot of anglers on the lake, but still no one's in that little bay. So we're going to have a couple more hours here on the rods, just in case this first light thing goes off. Then we'll have them in, take a wander around, do the same as yesterday. Couple of little single look baits against them little snaggy far margin over there. I've seen about 5 in there this morning, so no one else has clocked them yet. Fingers crossed. But before that, having picked challenge 2, we've got challenge 1 and 3 that Steve's just handed me, because he does like to push me against the wall. Right, challenge 1. Now, I haven't seen these yet. We're going to look at them now. Challenge 1. Do you know what? 50. We've got a total so far of 51 pounds, 14 ounces of carp. So we've also completed challenge 1. Challenge 3, I'll show you it first because I haven't seen it yet. So it's going to be either me wearing obscure clothing like in the Christmas one, or something that I probably can't achieve. 51. We're going to need, because this is Willow Park, probably 2 more fish to complete that. Catch a total weight of 80 pounds. Well, that's doable if the same what happened yesterday or in the night happens today, and we are going to, we'll go for it, we'll try it, see if we can do all 3. 80 pounds in weight, we're coming at you. With the fish shown again in the far bay, we had to be on our toes rather quickly. Moving on opportunities like this can be the difference between success and failure. Yes, number 3, edging our way towards the 80 pounds. Now, on even the busiest day ticket water, which this is at the moment, there are people everywhere. There's always a little corner, a quiet corner, there's no one in. Now, from where we're pegged on the other side, we could see this little bay. I did mention it earlier. There was a few showing, so we skipped round here. A couple of rods. We must have seen 10 or more fish since we've been here. 22 pounds exactly. So we're inching ever closer to the magical 80 pound. I think if we get one more fish, we'd have cracked that. But this is what, again, what Willow is famous for. These big scaled, fully
Stunning, fully scaled.
Mate, look at that,
Yeah,
Steve.
crazy.
This is what, you know, this, I'll repeat myself, this venue is famous for these big scaled, fully scaled. Probably after stock is this, and probably after stock is 20 pounds plus now. So 3 fish, all over the 20 pounds. You cannot argue with that on this lovely little, very cold wind, day ticket water. As you can see, the conditions from yesterday couldn't be any different. We've got a really cold wind, but we came around yesterday because we'd seen a few fish jump along this snaggy margin. Nothing happened. We gave it a couple of hours yesterday, wanted to get back and get the rods out. This morning, sitting over the other side in the main swim, right in the bay and along this snaggy margin. So we pulled them in, had a cup of tea first, pulled them in, whizzed round here, and I put A couple of singles just either side of this main snag on the far side. I don't know, 45, 50 minutes later, boom, the right hand one's gone. Again, just little single yellers. We're going to stick another couple of more hours here. There's no point being on the main rods. I think they'll do us a bit for tonight after the live feed. So, yep, I'm quite happy to stand here, freezing to death, in the cold wind, not moaning at all at Steve because we haven't got the tea gear around here. But all joking aside, at least another couple of hours, but I'm pretty sure we'll be here for most of the day. Result.
The next take caught me off balance. Now I'm not sure if I fell or young Stephen tripped me up.
Hey, you and your rod's going.
Look at my knees, man. Challenge 3 complete.
Right, before I pick this fish up, I want to reassure you that during the making of this film, no carp anglers were hurt, especially after what you've just seen.
This much. All the girls stop to feet like this. Few times you've been around that.
Chuffed to bits with this one. Let's get him back. We've got one more hour to nick. What's she called? The Duchess. £30 mirror. You'll do nicely. Right, we've had a good couple of hours here. 22 and a 16, it cannot be bad. But you know when you just feel that it's done, and we also want to make our way back to base camp now because we've got a bit of a game changer to apply for tonight. So talk to you a bit more about that when we get round there, because we have completed all 3 now, so we're going to change it around a bit. Okay.
So, Ian, I thought this might be a good time to tell everyone how you make a cup of tea, because it is just a little bit weird and different from everyone else.
This is... No, I googled it.
You can't believe everything Google says.
I googled it. Google, what do you believe in?
Wikipedia.
That's so last year, man. Google is next year. Right, for all you people that do not understand how to make the perfect cup of tea, first we add a decaf tea bag. Has to be Tetley round ones. Then we put the lid back on our yuppie tea bag pot, and we've got a mixture of brown and white sugar, and I'll tell you why that is.
Shout out, Poulter.
Because we nearly, shout out, Poulter, run out of brown sugar, which I always use. So Michael Poulter bought us over white sugar. Right, so then we have one of these to Stephen's cup, relevant. One of these to Ian's cup, relevant. Now, the Fiesta, yuppie top.
I mean, yeah, so far that's not too bad, but no. I think what happens next is just
I just think, Steve, you need to just get a bit of patience in your bones, mate. This is the bit. Milk.
No, water, Ian.
Cow juice.
Water.
No, this is milk. The milk goes in before the water, please. And because my postcode will tell you that I'm quite well spoken and well to do, TW, right? The TW stands for Twickenham. Now in Twickenham, we've got designated tea shops, which is where the decaf Tetley, not the co-op, decaf Tetley comes from. And when that's boiled, my little kettle, you add the water to the sugar, tea bag and milk.
Right, let's just have a look at that because
Now that's proper. That's proper.
And do you do this the same with coffee?
Right, with coffee, you put the powder in, you put the sugar in if you take sugar, and then you put a little bit of milk in, stir it around. If you're using posh coffee, which is like your vanilla lattes, which is what I'm quite well known for making for my guests and
I've
friends.
not had one of them yet.
Well, we haven't got any because my last guest the other day, Jay, he drank them all, right? So that's how nice they are. But let's just take the vanilla latte, powder from the sachet, little bit of milk, stir it around so it's like a paste, yeah? In goes the hot water, stir it around, a little bit of froth on top.
Right, let's
Look,
get
look.
the water in and give it a taste test, I suppose.
Also, you're missing another bit. It has to proper really boil, so you have to stir it like that. Because what they say is a watch kettle never boils, right? Now this is going to prove it wrong. I'm watching that, and it is boiling.
You timed that
Right?
perfectly.
No, it's a true
You
story.
timed that
Look,
perfectly.
right. So we'll turn that off. Now we add, carefully, not spilling any on the table.
Can you do
'cause
high
it'll go-
pours?
Sorry, was I talking then? Right, carefully not to spill it on the table because it will go through them holes onto my legs. Ian's cup. Stephen's cup. Look at that. Now, the difference now, right, because we'll keep this short because it ain't an hour-long film just about tea making. When you've put the water and the tea bag in, it goes all scummy and you don't know the texture, the consistency you're making it, not texture, sorry. When you've got a little bit of milk in there, you can beat the granny out of that tea bag like so until it reaches the right colour consistency that you require, that your palatine requires, and then
So
you
there
get
are
the tea
benefits.
bag out, right, here we go, give it a little squash, here we go, look. Stick it on there ready for the rubbish bag which is over yonder. Give it a little stir. Then we do Stephen's.
You've told us enough times.
Stephen's cup. They've made properly. His parents had him that made. Have they had that made for him? Right. Look at that. Squeeze out that goodness on the little pile. Stir it round. It's a yuppie thing that. Right. Spoon on there. Look at that. Twins. And that, I promise you, I'm not going to sup that yet because that'll burn my mouth. Steve will let you know just how good that is. Proper. That would go, woo, come on. Be like a little aeroplane. Oh, here we go. Let's do it. Let's do it. I'm going to ask you again. Are we ready, Steve?
Ready.
Right. Just talk you through the rig that I've had these fish on. I've had 4 now, as you knew, but I've used the bait from the box. Now, I did show preference to the pineapple and banana because they are, but just the colour's my favourite anyway, and they are a bit like a health and safety jacket, aren't they? They are fluoro, but they're about an 11 miller and they're very buoyant, so they suit what I want out of these perfectly. Got them on there, small ring swivel, Borley Peak point, size 4 at the Car Spirit, obviously razor point, and they are, it speaks volumes, doesn't it? I don't want to go any more than that because I end up bleeding. Onto that, the larger shrink tube that we do onto a quick change at ring swivel, but I've cut the ring off. I like that because I don't want the rig to be too heavy, but I'm going to contradict that in a minute. Connected onto there, the shrink tube as well is kicked round, so it's almost like a bit of a bent hook rig. It's not straight. That's connected to my favourite 23 pound Optimex. Now, Where I'm fishing is a softer area of the lake, not on the gravel, but it isn't like milkshake. It does land with a bit of a clump, but it's not stones. So I'm quite happy to use a stiff boom on that. 6-7 inches of that, and I use that for probably 80% of my presentations. If it was really, really silty where you felt the lead plugging in, I'd use a braided hook link. And I'd have to use 2 little pop-ups to hold it out to stop it tangling, but we're not doing that. Little tungsten bead on there. A loop then on the end of that fluoro. As you can see, I've replicated the metal loop that I've taken off to lose some of the weight there, but I want this, the movement there is incredible, and I wanted that weight just a fraction further back, which helps drop the hook like so. So we've got that there. A nice little quick change overhand loop on this end. On will go your little sleeve to hold it on our little quick change links there on the actual lead clip. And that is it. How simple, yet how effective, as you've seen. 4 bites, 4 fish. Keep it nice and simple. But get on the pineapple and banana, but not my ones. Right. When we left that other peg, I mentioned we're going to sort of game change things tonight because we'd completed what we'd set ourselves. Last night I fished on that silty spot out there, just 2 single pop-ups, side by side. And we mentioned the Oxford style of fishing, which to me, and Steve behind the camera, is 3 rods on a spot, bit of bait on it, you're open for multiple takes. So I've knocked up, just to put out, to change the game a little bit, we've got 1 tin of dynamite sweet corn in there, 2 big scoops of crushed monster tiger nut, boilies into crumb and lumps, and a little bit of marine halibut pellet in there. And that's all there is. So we've got 2 scoops and 1 tin. Now that's not a lot, but it's a lot more than was out there last night. So we're going to see if 3 rods tight on it, as long as I can achieve that, and this little bit of bait makes any more difference to what went on last night. Hopefully we can work it and get more than 2 takes, even though I'm not moaning about 2 takes. So I'll stick this lot out there. We're going to wrap them the same distance, put them all out there, probably different colour little Ronnies on them, just to see if it makes any difference, and then we'll put the kettle on. Now I spoke to you earlier about putting 3 rods crunched together as much as I could on the area I had them 2 fish last night. I've done about 6 to 8 spoms. Luckily for me they were all bang on the centre, the spoms. The lines for me at the range I'm fishing, and it's not excuses, given the wind I've got, I'm really pleased. They can probably no more than that apart of what we're talking, a fair old range. So let's see what happens in the dark hours. Really pleased with our, yesterday was very slow. Notice the yesterday was so warm that you thought yesterday would have been the day. Like we had nothing yesterday. We set our stall for the night, a couple of decent fish in the night, then it dried up, but then we only had singles out there. We had nothing to stop the fish travelling past us, but luckily for us we took 2 on that as they passed us. Today's been really cold in this wind with the coat on most of the day. A little bit of sunshine, but really cold wind. And I've also, although we moved swims, which we earned the fish, I had a small fish fall off, which after a matter of seconds, and I had a 22 pound fully scaled and a 16 pound common in just a few hours round the corner there in that little bay. We've set the stalls, we've done different tonight, as I've said, half a dozen, maybe 8 spoms, on a little area I had them 2 fish last night. I've crunched as much as I can, all 3 rods together. So I think today I fished well. 4 fish trips so far. The lake isn't on form. I know this lake so well, and I would have expected a dozen fish by now. So I'm pleased to have had 4 with 5 chances and one little one falling off. We've got another night before we, so I'm watching the bobbins as well, before we gel off in the morning when our work is done. So ever hopeful. We had the biggest fish in the lake last night. Let's have the second biggest tonight, eh? What's her name? Duchess.
I think
Fully
I'm
scaled.
gonna have to set you some harder challenges next time.
Well, you say that, but I know we've said this several times through this very short, really tough trip. You know, the challenges you set me, they can go both ways, can't they? You know that. A brace of 20s, £50 a carp, £80 a carp. The lake isn't on form. We have done well to catch these fish, but I'm not going to lie. We've worked hard to catch these fish. You know, I don't sit on my laurels. I don't sit around waiting for them. I fish for fish. I don't camp. So, yes, we have smashed all 3 of your little cards. Could so easily have gone the other way, and we couldn't have smashed even one of them, Steve. So, happy. Really happy. Mate, we ain't finished yet. Let's hope we get another couple tonight and maybe nick another one in the morning from that corner if we can get in it. So, let's finish this one and get on to the next one. But tonight, the Duchess is coming to visit.
As dawn arises, I drop back on the middle rod. Had me thinking a bream was the culprit.
Be a bird.
Go on.
What have you done? He's there, mate. He's there. Yeah? I don't think it's a carp, mate. It's going Lenny left, though. I think it's going to be one of them things that we don't actually want to catch.
A slimy whiny.
Because it's staying in a straight line. Oh no, it's going to the right now. It's one of them. Nah, it's a carp. Just seeing if he hasn't picked up the other line. Patience! Patience, leave the rods where they should be. Now, about half an hour ago, fish started showing just behind that spot out in the open water. Saw quite a few, and then this one. 22.5 pound. Of absolutely gorgeous. It's got a bit of orange in him there as well. And he fought his heart out, this one. Nice little drop back, which is unusual. I actually thought it was going to be a bream because we hadn't had a carp out there, but they're still showing out there now. Seen quite a few, as opposed to yesterday they were showing in the bay. So we're going to give it another hour or so here. I'm going to decide what the rest of the morning has in store for us. Other than that, 22.5 common, fish number 5, chuffed to bits. And he is dropping that little bit of crumb and sweet corn all over my hand and my unhooking mat. So that worked. It did work. Bacon and egg roll from the lovely Mr. Donaldson. Now, didn't you know when Steve, on his little mission to get the food, shot round the calf, that would happen. That would happen. 24 pound of gorgeous Willow Park fully scaled. Now when I finish munching this, we'll get him out and we'll show you. So well done, Steve. Thank you. sugar. That is now known as the egg and bacon carp in Willow Park. This brings us to the end of our trip. What a fish, 24 pounds with absolute majestic golden. I could pile up the words I'm going to say about this fish, but I won't. So this trip for us has been a 16, a 20, a 22, 22 and a half common this morning, 24 pounds, 31 and a half pound lake, well, the biggest resident of the lake, that common. So what a trip. I'm going to say thank you to Terry Donaldson, the manager. He's quite a strange character actually, but I do love him. He's a little bit of a weirdo, but no, lovely man. I'm joking aside, always looks after us here. And thank you so much to Mark and Amy, the owners. Look at it, for letting us use this beautiful lake that is full of these lovely 20 pounders. Now make sure you like the video and subscribe to the channel. Carp Spirit, Carp Pursuit could not have gone any better if we wanted it to. Thank you very much. Off he goes.